Hey everybody, it's 9 o'clock and 9 o'clock is with me, Father Warner. It's Tuesday of the 5th week of Easter. Our text is taken from John chapter 14, verse 27 to 31. And for those of you who would like a reflection on Acts chapter 14, verse 19 to 28, just go to my description box. Go to the description box of this YouTube video and you'll find in the description box links to both the video format as well as the text format for those of you who would like to have it. I've entitled today's teaching, We Are Citizens of Heaven. So let's look at John chapter 14 verse 27 to 31. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. You heard me say to you, I am going away, and I am coming to you. If you love me, you would rejoice that I am going to the Father, because the Father is greater than I. And now I have told you this before it occurs, so that when it does occur, you may believe. I will no longer talk much with you, for the ruler of this world is coming. He has no power over me, but I do as the Father has commanded me, so that the world may know that I love the Father. The Gospel of the Lord. Now, Jesus' death is imminent, especially in the Gospel of John, post chapter 13, you can see his death is imminent. Yet his concern is for the disciples rather than for himself. He reassures them that they will not be alone. He promised to send the Holy Spirit. We saw that a few days ago. Now, because Jesus will be present with them through the Holy Spirit, his disciples therefore need not be anxious. You remember that John chapter 14 begins with Jesus's exhortation, do not let your hearts be troubled, trust in God, trust in me, John 14 verse 1. And now again Jesus encourages, he exhorts his disciples, do not let your hearts be troubled and do not let them be afraid. Now in today's gospel, Jesus offers the disciples another gift. See, he gives them today the gift of peace. This gift is offered not only to his immediate disciples, but also to all who love him and to all who keep his word. We see that in John chapter 14 verse 23, to all who love him. Yet, my dear friends, this is a peace that is unlike the peace that the world gives. Think about this. This is Jesus' last will and testament. He had very little to leave. Even his clothes, as we know at Calvary, would soon be the property of the crucifixion squad of soldiers. But there was one thing he could give. He could give us the gift of peace. Now, the Greek word for peace is eirene. You'll find this word eirene all through St. Paul's letters when he writes grace and peace. Charis, grace, eirene is peace, grace and peace. But this word eirene is surely a translation of the traditional Hebrew greeting, which was shalom. You see, shalom was a greeting that passed the lips of any Jew. Jesus has taken this normal goodbye or hello and he's filled it with deeper strength, with deeper meaning. Now, shalom, as I've explained before, signifies more than the absence of conflict. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. Shalom is a profound and a holistic sense of well-being. It is a kind of peace which the world, as Jesus says, cannot give. The world cannot give it, but can come only from one person, from God himself. Now, this gift of peace accompanies the gift of the Holy Spirit. Remember, Jesus gave us the Holy Spirit. I give you the advocate, and now he gives us the gift of peace. So peace accompanies the Holy Spirit, which Jesus breathes into his disciples as he sends them out on mission. We'll see this several times that he will do. But the peace of this world is often based on distraction, or peace of this world is based on deliberate blindness and lies. Jesus offers us a better peace. He's offering us a real peace. Now let's look at what the world offers. The world offers us the peace of escapism. So you are stressed, you are worried, go for a holiday, escape somewhere, go to the mall, spend some time, distract yourself. You'll find peace. Or the world gives us a peace that helps us to avoid conflict and trouble. In that sense, we refuse to face up with the reality that we have. For many, peace would be the absence of trouble or the denial of our problems. The peace of the world is a peace that is sought also through pleasure, through satisfaction, and contentment. This kind of peace comes from the ruler of the world. It comes from Satan. This doesn't come from God. Now, when you look at this text of ours, we know that the end is near. In fact, Jesus says this, the prince of this world is at hand. But the apostles are clearly told they are not to worry. You see, Jesus knew that Satan was coming for him. At that moment, we know Judas Iscariot was arranging the arrest of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus could confidently and truthfully say that Satan had absolutely no hook, no foothold, no toehold of deception and control of him. Satan could not push Jesus to the cross. Jesus went in loving obedience to God. He went in loving obedience to his Father and out of love for the world. Now, the challenge for us today is to admit confidently that Satan has no hook, no foothold, or no toehold on you and me. Even an inch of sin in our hearts means that we have given residence to the prince of this world. As we turn to the Lord, clinging to his promise of peace, we are also called to promise that we will live as children of God's kingdom in his marvelous light. Today, my dear friends, would be a great day to bring out your spiritual broom. Clear the sin out of your life with one end of the broom. Use the other end of the broom effectively on Satan's head. And that is the teaching for today. Thank you for joining me. I want to say a word of gratitude to all of you who continue to like these videos, watch it, share it with your friends. Many of you have not yet subscribed to this channel. Please do that. There's no fee for a subscription. You just have to hit the subscribe button, and each time you go to YouTube, YouTube will first remind you that there is a new teaching. There's also a bell icon which reminds you or will send you a notification each time there is a new teaching. But thank you also to all of you who've been caring for our children's home in Goa. I do this each day to remind you, but also to be grateful to God for each one of you for caring for these children. It is, and I must say this, it is primarily through these teachings that we have been able to raise funds enough to run the house, and even some of you have been contributing to our girls' home. So I'm being quite open and honest, and I must tell you there are days when I actually think I've had enough. I've had enough of teaching on YouTube. I'd rather not do it and do something else. But I'm also mindfully aware that these teachings give life, not only to you spiritually, but through your generosity to children, and these 13 children that we have now have a better life because of the sacrifices that, yes, I make, the sacrifices that you make, and together we bring life to children. So in case you'd like to make a donation, sponsor a breakfast, sometimes a breakfast is just 1,000 rupees, lunch or dinner, or make a contribution towards education or just to the running of the house. Running the house itself, we have staff that we have to employ. Remember, we come under the government, and when I say under government, I mean we are not a government organization, but we have to follow all the rules of the government. The CWC comes on a monthly inspection. There are books to keep. Admin work is quite a lot. Yeah, the demands of the government with regard to administration of running these homes is extremely heavy. So sometimes when you think, why do we need staff? Well, we do. It's a lot of paperwork. It's like you're literally, sometimes you feel you're penalized for doing good. But we do it. We do it with love for these children. So thank you. Get in touch with me. My numbers come on the screen each day. Remember that in case you want the text format of the teaching, that's a separate number. If you want to send a donation, inquire about the donations, that's a separate number. I'm sure my staff is putting up the right telephone numbers for you. Bye everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.